All of this starts around 6:30. Okay.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. 1 second. Let me share it real quick.
Is it there?
Mm-hmm. Can I share it real quick?
Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right. So I just shared it on my Facebook page, KACEY.
Okay.
I did send it to you on Messenger on your page, but you might have to accept me for that first.
Give her a second.
Gotcha. Okay, I got to figure out how to do this without exiting this interview.
No, it's okay. Are you on your phone?
I am.
Okay. All right, that's fine. I just shared it, so I think you're fine. All right, I'm gonna start the show. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Making sure we're all good on our ends. Do you have the countdown, or can I just go?
I already did it. You're done.
No, I thought you did the 30-second countdown.
No, I don't do that. I just do the one.
Change of plans tonight. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. Welcome to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR1. We are in our home studio still regarding Corona, but hoping everyone out there is staying socially distanced and washing their hands. Just to stay safe and everything. Got to make sure we follow all the rules out there, and the CDC says. I'm glad and honored to have my guest here today, KACEY. We've been speaking since last year.
I know.
A lot of our fans and everyone tuning in will know that I recently reached out to her last year, where I wanted to book her because I think you had another single that you released last year, which might be the music video you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Correct. Okay, so that was another song we were going to promote, but we're going to promote a new one tonight. Well, KACEY, thank you for being here tonight. I'm glad to have you. I have KACEY McLain here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So why don't we jump a little bit, jumpstart the interview. Where are you huge in social media? Like, you're great with promotion wise, or is that something that's still coming to you as a musician?
It's definitely something that I'm still working on and learning about and growing with. But I feel like I've kind of started to hit my groove as far as, building the fan base and really building those relationships with people. I started out being terrible with Instagram. I used to hate Instagram just because it felt like I couldn't really get into a good spot with it and get things moving. But now I kind of feel like I have,
Once you get a soft spot for Instagram, it becomes a lot easier than you could think of, later down the line. And it also helps and more effects with your career. If you have stuff to promote, that makes it 100% easier. If you're just doing like a selfie or something like that, it's more of the fact that it's just showing you, or it's showing whoever's tuning into or seeing what you're posting on there, just what you have to show, what your material is, basically. So, but that comes a long down the while with being a musician and everything. So, KACEY, when did you first get interested with singing? Was it something that you was born with? Did you feel like you started singing when you were little, or how?
I was always a closet singer when I was younger.
Oh,
yeah. Ever since I was little, I would play all kinds of music and sing, but I never really sung for anyone else. I would sing in choir and those kind of things, but I always kind of kept it to myself. And it wasn't really until I was about 26 when I finally met the Dean of Music at Colorado State.
Oh, wow.
And that was when I started really hitting my groove and wanting to get in the studio and record, and started realizing that what I was writing wasn't necessarily just poetry, it was lyrics, because I always heard a melody in my head, but I just kind of figured, I'm not really a songwriter, so
But
they're
where,
just words, on a page.
yeah, but where it comes from that when you were just starting to write, like just a little bit, and not knowing that it was lyrics, and maybe you thought it was poetry or something that was rhyming. Where do you feel like that inspiration though came from? Was it like any artists that you grew up listening to? Was it anything in your household? Was it something you thought of that was funny? Or
It's definitely a combination of everything. My mom always sung me to sleep when I was little. She was very much an inspiration in the fact that she always taught me that music is, a place where you can be safe, and it's kind of, a home where you can express yourself and be who you want to be, and so I had her influence, and then I was raised in a very strict Baptist family, and so we didn't necessarily listen to secular music or pop music. And when I was 10, I kind of snuck in a Mariah Carey cassette tape.
oh my gosh,
you my house.
So we're definitely back then. Now, oh Lord,
and it dates me. And I got so hooked. And from there, I bought a Celine Dion CD when I was like 13. And, I just kept attaching to pop music. And so it was kind of a combination of family and also, my love of pop music, and how, especially more in like the late 90s, early 2000s, how it was more about storytelling, on top of the catchy hook. So,
as opposed to just garbage nowadays.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm not saying your music. God no. But I'm saying, well, it's catchy, but
it's a lot more of the catchy hook and the repetitive catchiness, and there's not a lot of content in a lot of our music. And I guess for me, I miss a lot of that, but I still try to do that, and yet still kind of walk the borderline and have the catchiness in there.
Like
but not go too full on into story mode. So yeah, that's kind of my inspiration and musical background. I did piano classically when I was 2 till I was 10. But then when I was 10, I got very distracted by sports and life, and so I kind of stopped doing piano. Yep. But then, in college, when I came back to music in general, it became, a key part of everything for me.
Did you did you go back into piano after that, like being in college? Or no?
I dabbled a little bit into it, but I didn't get like very far back into it. I just play enough. I'm like, I just play enough to know, how to tap out what I need to tap out.
Which is good though, because you still know the chords and everything. Like if you're trying to get that certain type of beat, there's a lot of musicians that like to do that. But a little bit further down the line, when you were starting to write more music and you were going to like a recording studio, how many times would you say within that recording studio, not even just recording, you would sing your song and then not like it and maybe change the lyrics? Do you guys, like some musicians like to change it when you're in the booth? Do you do that?
I change little things, but not big things. I'll change like one or two words in the chorus or one or two words in a verse, and it's more how I'm singing them than necessarily changing them. For me, I find like
is it like a different tone in your voice? Like what do you mean exactly with that? I'm sorry.
I mean, like, the melody and the area of where I'm enunciating parts of words.
Okay, like just for like the hook, like the part of the verses, like just for it to make more sense to the viewers, to the fans.
So like in my song Higher, I was behind the mic and recording when I decided to go ha ha higher instead of enunciating it fully each time.
Okay. So you were just having a little fun with it too, which is
Yep.
what you should be doing as a singer, you know? Like you have to have fun with some of your music.
Yep.
It can't just all just be hard work, because hard work definitely pays off, but where's the fun in it? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely a huge part of it. Did you do any musical theater or anything growing up as well?
Not really.
No?
When I was homeschooled, we used to do plays with the Christian school.
Okay.
So me and my sister would kind of be a part of those, but not really any theater background.
Okay.
My sister did, and I always went and watched and had fun with the hair and makeup and and playing around with the dress up, but I never participated really.
Did you ever take singing lessons, or was that something you like trained yourself?
Yeah, so for the first 2 years really of pursuing music professionally, I didn't really have a vocal coach. And then when I started working with my producer here in California, I started working with a vocal coach, because not only did I want to just, maintain things, but I also wanted to be able to kind of grow and learn new avenues that I can use my voice.
Okay, that's really good. Like falsetto, like higher up soprano, or
Yeah,
alto?
so I've always tend to go the alto route with my personal stuff, but I'm actually a mezzo soprano. And so
that's
and
like
most people are like
track right there.
So
why do you go the alto route?
Because it's my comfort zone. It's like it's where I feel comfortable, even though my voice is more of a mezzo soprano. I don't like pushing the higher notes, even though I can do them. And it's been an experience with my recent voice coach. He's really taught me that a lot of it for me is up here, and that I don't have to worry necessarily so much.
Do you feel like, KACEY, part of just being in voice lessons, or being a musician, it's easy for you to organically change from belt to soprano?
Yeah, I do.
Yes. I'm so jealous, because me being an opera singer, it's harder for me to go to do belt than soprano.
Yeah.
Like I can never do belt. Every time I do belt, it just sounds horrible. So it's never gonna happen. That's amazing. It's so amazing when musicians, you guys can do that, and you could do the natural change, with singing, right?
Yeah.
Because some of your music, what would you say it kind of is? So is it alto?
It's
like a mix?
Alto, borderline soprano. You know what I mean? I don't think any of my stuff. Well, so there's parts in Lonely Truth where I definitely hit the mezzo soprano range for sure. And all of the background vocals, it was hilarious when we were recording it, because my producer was actually kind of a little concerned. He was like, I feel like that's too high. And I was like, no, it's really not. I feel like I haven't shown you.
Because you have the opportunity. You have that.
Yeah.
You have that feel, like you have that idea of what you want to basically pursue and show the world. And it's more the fact, KACEY, that it's something that it's super exciting. And it's also, I guess you could say, it's kind of mind-blowing too for the musician. Because maybe you could say, for instance, what if your fan base doesn't know that you have that huge like change in your voice. Like it's something you kept hidden. Now remember, I know you the best that I do, but regarding that, or anyone tuning in, they'll be like, oh, she sings, soprano or something, and you sometimes only in your tracks are alto. It's more the fact that it's like, oh my goodness gracious, where did that come from? Well, why did you hide that from us? It's like that kind of thing where it's just like, oh.
Yeah. And there's some of the stuff that I have coming up that I'm really excited to actually get in and record, because I'm starting to get more comfortable with letting that range out.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some of the stuff that will be coming up that will show more of that. And so it's going to be exciting when that gets, introduced.
I think it's more the fact too that, no, that's super exciting, but more the best is also having like virtual events or things that you have to promote and show, because that keeps your fans on their toes, waiting for more music and more releases and everything. Because, being a musician and stuff, do you ever feel like maybe you receive the pressure from whether it's your producer or anyone that's just on top of you that tells you they want you to get this track done by like next month? Like, does that ever seem like that pressure for you, or is that easy?
I feel like I tend to set the crazy deadlines, and most people are usually just like, okay, well,
what are you like? What are your crazy
deadlines? I mean, so the music video that we're working on right now, I in my head have a deadline that is probably a month sooner than what everybody else feels like is necessary.
Okay.
But for me, I'm excited. I'm ready to get it out there for everybody. And I feel like, I've been kind of hinting at it and showing little clips of different things for a while now. And I'm just ready to get it out there for everybody to see.
I was going to say, let's talk a little bit about your website though, too, because when you go to your website, Alice in Wonderland, correct? Where does that come from? It's like the cutest thing. And I think your picture is one of your pictures on your website, Alice in Wonderland too, where it looks kind of like that with like the curly hair.
Yes. So when I started going into what I wanted my own damn paradise, so what I wanted my world to look like to everybody, I am very influenced by Disney. I've always been influenced by Disney.
I'm sure half of us are. It's amazing though that you can like incorporate that in a musician career. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Like that. So continue.
And so I wanted it to be this grand combination of Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, and a little bit of just crazy colors. Things that you wouldn't typically see in Disney per se. And also incorporate the penguin instead of, the Mad Hatter, and the unicorn, in there. Kind of, yes, as my combination of what my paradise would look like.
But what would the unicorn be doing?
So the unicorn for me is literally my whimsical side. It's that part of me that's very out there, colorful, that I want people to see, but it's very difficult on a day-to-day basis for me to let out. And the penguin for me is just my constant, my faith, that part of me that is always going to be there.
And you dressing up as Alice in Wonderland is?
That is how I feel. That's how I want everybody to understand that they can be the queen of their own world. They can do it. They can, have positivity. They don't have to live in negativity and this world that we live in today, they can bring what they want into their life.
And get a better idea of it.
Yep.
Now, what do you mean exactly when you were speaking a little bit of the unicorn? Like, do you have a shy side? Are you hard sometimes to maybe express yourself, whether it's through your music or interview?
I definitely am.
You're
I
shy?
am a very introverted extrovert.
Okay.
I make myself get out there and be extroverted, but I have my very introverted parts of
Where
me.
it's just like, yeah, where you hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be hard for you to like, not communicate wise, but maybe like email back or respond.
Yeah. And I definitely, I feel like I've started to connect with a few of my younger fans that are the same way, and that they really want to jump into music and they want to do things, but they're afraid of how other people will perceive them, or afraid of what their parents might think. And that whole thing for me, my own damn paradise, is me trying to say to everybody, you don't have to worry about that. Be who you are and be okay with that. Because every day I'm learning to do it myself, but it's possible.
So I was going to say, do you feel like that helps you with being an introvert? Having your own paradise?
Yeah.
Or dreaming of your own paradise. That's another thing.
Yeah, it's definitely, making it your vision and your dream, but then also accepting it and then letting it happen.
Do you feel like when you were writing this song, or just the title of the song, were you daydreaming? Were you thinking of what your paradise would be? Do you feel like that came with it?
Yeah, when I first, it's funny because we started writing the song almost 3 years ago.
Wow. You just launched it in January.
I did.
Okay.
It's crazy how much went into it. And we started writing it, and I mean, it was one of those writing sessions where I came into it and I knew exactly like what I could see visually for the video, and what I could see. I'm always that way. I always see it before I hear it, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. It sounds like a sixth sense.
I can see visually what I want and the picture of what it's supposed to be before I really can hear it. And a lot of what I could see was just the beach, which is where I tend to go when I need to get away. And, bright colors and a lot of whimsical different elements. And so when I sat down, we started writing. And at first, I was holding back a little bit. And I looked at my co-writer and I said, I would really like for there to be a part where I'm just like, it's my own damn paradise. And she was like, that's the title.
Wow. So it sounds like it came that easy, but it also sounds like you might have a sixth sense. A good sixth sense. Not a spiritual one.
I'm like, what do you mean, sixth sense? Exactly.
Meaning that you can visualize something that is to come.
Yeah.
And put it to what you want it to. And that's like an imaginative, super imaginative, like great persona as well. I
definitely am very visual, and I see things before they, before I hear them and before I can write them.
Or just an idea of something.
Yeah. Stronger Than Unbreakable was the same way. I mean, I could really see, not so much for that one as far as like the exact details of things, but I could see that I wanted a lot of strong colors, and blocky, very abrupt movements from me for that one.
What would you say exactly, if you can say what your previous singles were and what they were what they were about, as to what My Own Damn Paradise is? Kind of like a breakaway for yourself.
Yeah. So do you mean like
your first
my first, so the first song that I wrote, I actually haven't released ever. It's on SoundCloud where people can hear it, but I never officially released it.
Okay.
And that one was kind of that starter that allowed me to really feel like I can do music in general, and that it was okay to create.
Sorry, I can't see.
Okay.
And the first single that I released, Higher,
yes.
That one was definitely about overcoming and just not caring and saying, you know what, you can say whatever you want to say, but I'm going up. Sorry, guys. You know.
Okay.
And when I released Lonely Truth, that's the only breakup song that I've ever written.
Okay.
And that one was definitely a collaboration of two breakups, actually, because my best friend at the time had broken up with his girlfriend, and I had broken up with my long-term boyfriend. And they both were very similar experiences as far as relationships go. And we had our flights booked to fly out to California and work with a producer that we had always wanted to work with. And we got there, and we couldn't figure out what we were going to write.
Ooh.
And then I looked at him and I was like, you remember that song that you were like starting to work on? I think we should use that kind of a beat. And I think we should write a breakup song. And he kind of looked at me and he was like, but that's not what you do. And I was like, I know, but I think that's what we should do. I'm like,
right?
Yes,
Completely.
it definitely was. And so we did that one, and it's, you know, written about our breakups. And then I released Stronger Than Unbreakable, and that one is just about overcoming loss and death of a family member.
Oh.
And, you know, knowing that you can get through to the other side. And then releasing Sing My Heart Out. That one was solely written about being told by a certain music supervisor that I would never be a pop singer, that I should just do demo singing, that I was not talented enough to be a pop artist.
You're a hater.
And it was one of those sessions where I walked out, and anybody who really knew me could see on my face that I was just devastated, because I was like, do I believe what one person says, or do I believe what I feel internally? And my friend actually wrote the song technically for me about that experience. And when he sent that song to me, I just bawled my eyes out, because I was like, yes, that is what I want to say. Because nobody should ever listen to one person's opinion.
No, definitely. But
you know what I mean?
For that one song, did they send you an idea of what that song was going to be, or did they send you the song and then you rewrote it?
No, they sent me. So he is my writer for that song. So he technically wrote that song. And then there's a few of the vocal melodies that we kind of changed up a little bit, but everything was pretty much from what he wrote. Now, granted, we changed up a few words here and there, but for the most part, it was what he
Is
wrote.
what he wrote. Yeah.
And it was one of those instances where it just was 100% what I needed to say and what I wanted to say at that time. And it was crazy how in my head he got in writing that song.
It was more
Because-
amazing the frustration you also felt with being told that. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
that you went home and cried, or you were
Oh, yeah.
very upset, or I'm sure you also called everyone on your phone if you like to talk to people and tell them the story over and over again.
Well, yeah, I was at an event when that happened, you know, because
That's worse.
it was actually at a songwriters event, and I left that session room and I walked out in the lobby, and my friend saw me sneak into the bathroom, and I just bawled my eyes out for like 20 minutes. And then I was like, okay, you're fine. You can do this.
You get yourself back together.
Clean your face up and go back out there and ignore them.
Write a song. Yeah. Write a song about it. Exactly. Yep. Perfect.
And it wasn't until about a month later when he messaged me and said that he had kind of started writing a song about it. And I was like, well, as soon as you have something, send it over to me, because you know, I'm very eager to hear it. And when he sent it over, I was blown away at how in detail he caught how I felt.
Wow. No, but do you see what I meant? Like, why I wanted you to explain some of what your songs meant. Do you see the difference behind each song as to where you are now?
Yes. Yeah.
Because the Stronger Than Unbreakable, was that the last song that you released?
So Stronger Than Unbreakable, and then Sing My Heart Out.
Okay. Now, Sing My Heart Out, was that like, that sounds positive, singing your heart out, like.
It is positive, but it's the one about not listening to the person, that one opinion. You know, it
shouldn't matter.
It really shouldn't. You know, if you feel like you are supposed to be the president, you should go for that. If you feel like you should be an actor, you should go for that. You know, if that is what you feel and you know you are born to do, I feel like you should go for it. And you shouldn't let one person's opinion change your mind or reset you down another path.
How can one know if they're born for it?
Well, I feel like for me,
just an idea. Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's an internal feeling. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily have the background, you would say, for it or anything, but it is everything to me, and it helps me communicate, and it's what I love.
Okay.
And, you know, if for me, I just know internally it's what I'm supposed to do, you know, and I can work whatever jobs, you know, that I need to, but that's what I love. And that's what I feel like I'm meant to do, for sure.
What do you feel like, KACEY? Because I know you love music so much, and I'm glad that you do, but what would you feel like if you weren't a musician? What would your job be? Just an idea.
So just an idea. So yes. I currently do 2, you know, careers. So I am a project manager in telecom, full time.
In Karma?
And what?
Telecom.
I'm sorry, telecom. I think the telecom. I'm sorry.
I heard you. Continue. I heard you.
So that's kind of where I fall in a business perspective and another career route.
Wow.
You know, and definitely is kind of where I see myself being until music gets where I want it to be and where I see it going.
But you also help promote and push yourself that way too, right?
Correct, yeah.
You handle promotions? Is that also what telecom is? Do you handle promotions?
No, and what I do, what in telecom, it's essentially leasing and zoning and permitting for cell towers.
Oh,
So I work for a company that's a vendor of one of the carriers, and we do all of the paperwork and everything that happens before a cell tower goes on air.
okay. Oh. Is
So
it weird? Like, I feel
different
like,
world.
yes, 100%. Do you control like the G's, like the 4G, 5G, or is that something different too?
So everything that I do doesn't really have to do with that. The radio frequency engineers are the ones that, lay out what is needed for the cell towers. I just get the leases signed and get it through zoning and permitting.
The ways that you're supposed to. Is that a cat or a dog behind you? I'm so sorry.
That is my dog, Izzy. Do you want me to grab her real quick?
Is it a corgi?
She's a West Highland Terrier.
Okay, I saw her cute little tail, so.
And she
Oh.
Oh.
She is my rescue and my baby.
Oh.
Izzy has the cutest little nose. Oh, God. Cry. Oh, she's adorable. Okay, so the next song is about rescue pets. And how you know Izzy, though, was that because you said it was a rescue? Was that something down the line as being a musician, like you wanted to rescue a pet, or was that just your pet lover?
Well, so one, I am definitely a pet lover. I am definitely one for rescuing and, doing anything I can to help animals, for sure. She happened, and I honestly don't even know how exactly it happened, but I received an email from someone who was searching for a home for her. And this was almost 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a picture of her, and they had her little story, and she had been with this elderly lady for 5 years, and then the elderly lady had to go to a nursing home, and they sent Izzy, who at that time was named Peaches, to a shelter. And she was pending her end because she hadn't been adopted. And so they were trying to find a home for her. And I called my dad and I said, do you think I should go ahead and take on a dog? I'm not home a lot, so I was afraid to.
Oh, okay. Your job.
And my dad, he goes, thank God. Yes, get her.
Oh, so it was definitely meant to be.
Yeah. And, from moment one, she's so timid, so shy. And, she's definitely been through it for sure. But she's, in the last 2-3 years, she's just become amazing. She's got so much life. She's actually got her own Instagram as well.
Oh my goodness gracious. What's her Instagram?
Take it from Izzy.
That's adorable. Did you made that for her? And you post pictures and stuff? See, so that's why you're slowly getting into Instagram. You're posting your dog. It's a start, right?
Definitely. I'm like between her and my stuff, it's slowly, I've been figuring it out with the social media.
Now, KACEY, do you feel like with the COVID-19 that we're all dealing with this pandemic, do you feel like it has stopped you from being a musician or made it harder to promote or tour any events, or has it helped you in any way? Anything positive or negative about it?
It's been both. So back when you and I first started talking about me coming on the show, I had done 13 different shows that year in California alone. And so I was, performing nonstop, it felt like, for a year. And that has come to a stop, this
A safe-
last year. With that being said, I kind of thought, that music would kind of come to kind of a halt, but ironically, with everybody being home more, everything online that's streaming has been, the streams have been pouring in, and I feel like in some ways it's actually helped because people are home more, and so they're listening and they're watching, which is interesting. I definitely miss the performing 100%. And I wish that we could get back to kind of having a balance, and having some live performances, and figure that out and get events, rolling. But I know in time it'll get back to, a new norm of, live events safely. Because we definitely want to keep, everybody on both
or they could
our
do
end and their end.
Yeah, they could do live events and then no studio audience.
Yeah. And
But then,
I know,
like, what are you performing for?
yeah. Well, and it's
More.
interesting. There's a couple of studios that have been doing that, but it's really been challenging to be able to get your band together and practice and rehearse leading up to it, or at
They
least
won't
for
let
me
you
it
bring
has
your
been.
They won't let you bring your whole band.
Well, it's more the being able to prepare for being at the event, and coordinating everybody, and keeping it safe to be able to do that with the full band. Now, granted, I am working to try and start making a few of those happen with the full band.
Okay.
But I am also going to be having some acoustic live events to where it's just me and a guitarist because it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
I've kind of...
Oh, so you play guitar as well?
I don't. I'm learning guitar. I'm like, I don't yet. I'm learning guitar.
Do you drabble?
Do what?
Do you drabble in guitar?
I'm learning it. I've started taking lessons throughout the pandemic with a friend of mine, and so we're working towards being able to have me do guitar.
Okay.
It's definitely a learning curve for sure.
It could be complicated. I quit when I did less than a month.
What,
something
guitar?
like that. Yeah, I didn't like the feeling of the calibus.
The calluses.
Never get that
Calluses.
word right. I'm sorry. It's a live interview. This is what happens. It just happens.
It's all right. It happens.
That's for a dictionary.
I just hated the feeling. Like it was. Not pleasant.
Yeah, and that hasn't necessarily. The calluses aren't the problem for me. And you can actually see one on my finger if I got it super close to the camera.
So that's where you're strumming. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the strength of my fingers that is challenging for me.
Do you mean like playing wise or chords or
holding down chords and what have you?
Get a little complicated. Yes.
It for sure is a learning.
Have you learned any like songs, like other songs? I know you're trying to write your music in there, but ones that are easy.
So this sounds so goofy. I've learned "Smoke on the Water."
Oh, that's an amazing song.
Well, the beginning part of it. The beginning part of it. Not the whole thing. And I'm pretty much, that's it. That's as far as like with a song that I've gotten.
An easy one that I remember was All of Me by John Legend. If your friend can teach you that, like the chords, like the lyrics, like just the hook part, that's easy to remember the chords.
Okay.
And then maybe you can change it up for if you learn how to play down the line for yourself.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Yeah.
And I think I learned how to play Numb, the beginning by Linkin Park.
And tell her, don't forget, most all the songs that were written that are hits have only 3 chords.
A lot of the songs that were written that were hits have only 3 chords. I think she can hear you. You can hear him, right?
I can hear him.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
You just let me repeat everything you just said.
I just want to make sure she heard it.
Oh,
No, that's okay.
Lord. I made it like she's like she couldn't hear. She could hear. She could hear you. But yeah,
I can hear it.
Easiest chords they come very complicated at first, but then they come super easy. So I give you thumbs up for that. Keep it up, 'cause you're a musician, so you should know how to play guitar.
I'm excited to finally get to where I feel like I can play a full song.
Yeah, like a change, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm
really
definitely
excited for that.
Well, I think that's super exciting for you. But I also feel like I get a little like Taylor Swift vibe from you a little bit.
A little bit. Okay. I feel like I've kind of leaned into a little bit of her style as far as physically. Lately, I previously would have seen myself more in the Lady Gaga avenue, just because I've done the extreme hair and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's definitely a combination for sure.
But the good news is that you have a lot of the people that are out there like in the industry. There's ones that you either have inspirations wise or people are starting to say that you sound similar to. And that is definitely a good start as a musician, that you get that opportunity and that change. Because then you can just mess with your hair and like, your clothes, your outfit, makeup, everything. And just go hardcore and have fun with it. So that's definitely a huge, huge step of it.
Yes, for sure.
Really
and I definitely, I've been asked a couple times, like, if you had to put a couple artists together to equal what you are and kind of what your sound is, what would those people be? And I definitely see that as a combination of, like I said, Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Rachel Platten.
Okay.
Dido.
Who's Dido?
She was big in the 90s, late 90s, and
Dido?
she did the song White Flag.
Maybe. I might have to hear it.
Yeah, if you heard it, you'd know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
He knows it.
Well, I play it and I know it.
So then I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
And then Katy Perry, and to round it all out, a little bit of Taylor Swift vibes.
Okay. I like Katy Perry a lot too, so I could definitely see that in the mix. Just with the exotic outfits, the fun stuff. And then especially your fun music videos, because I know for My Own Damn Paradise, we were talking about it. We're actually going to play the song shortly. But what was the music video that you're looking to portray with that? Is there going to be a unicorn and a penguin?
There is.
Well? Okay.
There is. And I'm really excited about it. We actually we got together with my stylist and a couple friends, and we built this whole Wonderland set. That
is so fun.
And
is there anything that says "eat me and I'll get small" or "eat me and I'll get big"?
There's not any of that, but I've got the whole teacup set, and we've got, neon light globes, and we even built a tree.
You built a tree?
Yeah.
Did you plant a tree or you built a tree?
We built a tree. It was totally elementary school vibes, paper mache. We built everything. And then we went and we bought this fur that was green, and we put lights up through the fabric. so that it would look like dragonflies on the
That's
floor.
amazing. Wow.
So-
That sounds so beautiful. That sounds like so it's like exciting to like watch this video because I want to like pick out everything when I watch it. I'll be like, he was talking about that. There's all the dragonflies, and then there's the tree that they built, and like all that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that and getting the footage out for it.
Are you going to be Alice in that? Are you dressing up?
I am. And there's definitely 2 phases to it, which I don't want to necessarily let out. But
Okay. Is it something different? Like
there's the very light part of the video, and then there's, when I land in Wonderland, that's a little bit darker vibes as far as makeup and hair and wardrobe go.
Look, as long as somebody's running over to you and trying to kill you, I'm fine. But I don't know.
Well, thank you.
How dark you're getting, so
there's no, there's no one trying to kill me. There's no murdery vibes going on.
Okay.
But there's definitely a lot of fun elements, and we drink neon tea. It's gonna be interesting.
And how did you do that though with the neon tea? Is it just a tea bag with food?
And it actually happened by accident. We didn't intend to
You're
have.
so excited.
We didn't intend to have anything in the teacups. We just intended for it to kind of look like we were drinking.
Okay.
And the person who was the penguin actually knocked one of the light globes over into one of the teacups. And then my director for the video production was like, wait a minute, let's do that.
Can you drink a light globe?
You can't, but it looks like you do.
Okay, but you don't.
We don't actually drink them. We don't actually drink them, but it looks like we are.
KACEY, it sounds like you got peanut butter into the chocolate like Reese's. By mistake. Right?
We definitely did, for sure. And it's one of the most fun experiences that I've had with creating things, because we started out with like this small idea of what I had imagined, and then it just kind of escalated while we were there.
I'm excited. I think that we are going to play My Own Damn Paradise. We'll be right the show. We're going to let everyone tune in. We're going to play My Own Damn Paradise with KACEY McLean. We'll be right back to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR1.
Started out with
There's a delay.
Yeah, she knows. There's a delay.
And then it just kind of escalated while we were there. I'm excited. I think that we are going to play My Own Damn Paradise. We'll be right back to the show. We're going to let everyone tune in. We're going to play
Can you hear it okay, KACEY?
With KACEY
Can you hear? Yeah, she can.
We're right back to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR1.
I am standing on the shore, not looking backwards anymore. Gonna swim towards the sun. Now it's time to feel my feet touch the earth that's calling me. Somewhere that's new to start from.
Katy Perry vibes.
Somewhere that's new to start from.
and we are back to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net stream HR1. We're also live on the Roku channel,
YouTube
which is my HRTV.
Yeah, and YouTube as well.
Sorry, I got to get used to promoting that. I don't know what a Roku channel is. That's why I looked quickly.
And HRTV is
so, off air, me and my father, Doc G, were talking. He's the owner of the radio station, and we have Paul Mack,
Australia.
Tripping over my words here. Paul Mack, who's also one of our DJs, and he has his own show here in Australia.
For over 5 years.
He's had it here for about 5 years, and my father wanted to know if we had permission to send it over to him because he can get your music played in Australia on Saturday.
That would be amazing. I would love that. Absolutely.
Do you get her?
I got it.
Confirmation.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And we get your permission to play it here as well on Hamilton Radio, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful.
There you go.
I have the song, so I'm going to play it.
Yeah, he's like, he loved it. So officially, when I started hearing it, like when you said a little mix of like Katy Perry, it was the weirdest thing. That's like the only thing I felt. And I didn't see the music video. I think it's like the change because it reminded me a little bit like kind of like Hot and Cold, where it was like up and then back and then up and then back. So it was like definitely a different change. That's really exciting. And yeah, no, I mean that I can't wait. So this music video, then when do we know it's going to be in post-production? Is it going to be this year? Is it next year?
So it is definitely coming. We're looking probably around June-ish.
Okay.
For it to come out. So
is it depending on the circumstances with COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
It is, correct? Yeah.
Yes. That is considering that everything goes well and we get it all shot on the 20th, and then everything will go into final production.
Well, that's awesome. No, that's super exciting. I love that you have, or you're doing your best to have planned stuff going on still, you know, with a musician and everything, because it's hard when a lot of things are shut down in California. So
yeah, it's definitely changed things. And, you know, typically I would just, you know, set up a time and go into the studio and record vocals. And that has definitely been one of the bigger struggles. And it's also why I'm starting to set up my own studio at home.
Yeah.
Because it's looking like I definitely need to have at least the basics to record vocals.
Or do you feel like you could always do it from your house if you have like the right material information, and you can have your producer like over the phone, or you can email it over to him, like, you know, that type.
It's definitely, so what we're planning, I actually have my next single starts production on the 19th of this month.
Oh, okay. So 10 days. Or on March. So 10 days.
And so the plan for that one is for either, if we can't get into the studio for both of us, the plan is he's going to do where he takes control of my computer and he runs and helps me record vocals, which is going to be a whole new experience.
That's really fun, though. That sounds like that will be a learning experience for both of you.
It will be. I mean, he's definitely done it a couple times, but for me, it'll be all new. I'm going to be like, all right, this is interesting.
Take it back a week and just go.
I'll have fun with it, but it's definitely going to be interesting learning, you know, what I'm doing to
what do you feel like, KACEY, with your music down the line, you want your genre to be? I know you said your genre is pop, but it's a different type of pop, correct?
Yeah. It's definitely, it's not your typical mainstream pop. I feel like I'm more in the realm of honest / inspirational pop music, which for me is just, you know, finding that silver lining in whatever it may be, whether it's a good situation or a bad situation, and bringing that through in lyrics and music.
And a show or something for, what do you mean exactly?
So, I mean, like, like finding the positive in losing someone,
Okay.
finding, how you're growing, how you're learning from that, how you're moving forward through it.
Yes.
Yeah. And definitely putting that into my lyrics and image and everything across the board.
That's really
so
exciting. I love
so
that.
for me, it's a borderline between like what I consider honest and / inspirational pop.
For everyone else to hear and to get a
Yeah.
taste of. Now, KACEY, where can people find you on social media? This is your time to promote.
Yes. So all of my social media is on my website, which is www.KACEYMcLAINmusic.com. All the links to everything are there. But then you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at KACEY McLAIN Music. And Twitter, it's just under KACEY McLAIN. And I'm on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. And like we said, the new music video is going to be coming up soon.
So stay tuned on your social media.
Yes, please. Definitely follow, like, share, and, stay tuned.
Retweet.
Because I do. Yes. And, just keep your pulse because there's a lot coming and a lot that's about to be released.
That's so exciting. I love hearing that. Is there any last minute, anything last minute that you'd like to say before we get ready to end the show?
I don't think so, but thank you so much for having me on. It's been so fun.
Well, KACEY, I'm so glad. It's super exciting and fun for me too because I love hearing different types of music. And now I have an idea of what the music video is going to be. I'm so excited to see it when it happens because I'll be like, yes. Guys, you have to listen to the show. I believe it was in the middle of a conversation where we were talking about what her music video is going to be based off of before you do the release. It would just be, yes.
Yes. And, definitely you and I will have to stay in contact. And I'd love to hear what you think after it's released, for sure.
Yes, of course. I'll email you or before you release it or getting ready to, you can email it over to me. And I can give you that information also. But you have to accept me first on Facebook.
I will. As soon as we're off here.
Well, thank you, KACEY.
And have her accept me too.
My father added you as well on Facebook, so he'd like you to accept him as well.
Absolutely.
And KACEY, can I get a radio station promo ID tag from you?
Oh. A what?
A radio station promo ID tag.
Sure.
Okay. So you're just going to say your name. I don't know. I know you have a band, but you prefer being solo, correct? Your band is just for your music. Okay. So you're just going to say your name, and then you're going to say you're listening to the DJ Dani Show.
Okay.
And then the second one is you're listening to Hamilton Radio.
Okay. So do them separately?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I am KACEY McLAIN, and you are listening to the DJ Dani Show. I am KACEY McLAIN, and you are listening to Hamilton Radio.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Definitely stay in touch. And whenever you're getting ready either to release a song or album, reach out to me. I'll have you back on my show, or any music you want to send over our way to play on the station. We could do that too.
Absolutely. I would love that so much.
Yeah, any of your songs, even the ones that you previously released if you want to. You just have to send them over to me.
Awesome.
And then WG over here will play them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, KACEY. I hope you had a great time. I enjoyed interviewing you, getting to know you. Hope everybody tunes in for next week, and stay tuned. And make sure you guys also stay tuned for her social media, KACEYMcLAINmusic.com, and information on my own Damn Paradise's music video. Thank you, everyone.